Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome in to the Calhoun County Spring Jam of 2017. We are live at JSU at Jacksonville State University, Burgess Snowfield at JSU Stadium. I'm Carl Brady. We've got John Holder along with us here, and we are ready for 2 full days of exciting high school football action, spring football action for you here at JSU.
Now, Carl, we got 2 games coming up each day. We'll have 2 games today, 2 games tomorrow. These will be full games. They'll play 12 full-minute quarters, and we're excited about seeing not only 7 Calhoun County teams from the 7 Calhoun County school system schools, but we will also be seeing Russellville, one of the powerhouse teams in high school football history from Northwest Alabama, coming here to play tomorrow night against the Sacs Wildcats.
That's right. We're going to have our first game tonight. Will feature the Weaver Bearcats and the Ohatchee Indians. And we'll have that game coming up, kicking off here in just a minute. But we'll have a look at the rules and some of the different things that are going to be going on as we begin the game. Kicking game will not be 100% live, I'm sure. So there are things that we're going to be looking at that will be a little bit different, being a spring game. But this is a good opportunity for the coaches to see what they've got after they've lost their seniors, and a good opportunity for the fans to get excited about the upcoming year.
And, Carl, there's a lot of excitement. I'm glad you used that word in both Ohatchee and in Weaver. Obviously, both coming off great seasons. They were 2 of the top 10 teams in the state in Class 3A, being in the same region, 3A Region 5. Ohatchee, of course, with the second-best season in school history last year, 12-2. Their only 2 losses to 2-time state champion Piedmont. Weaver also knocked out by state champion Piedmont. They made the quarterfinals. They were 9-4 last year. So the folks at Ohatchee feel like Ohatchee football is back, right. And the folks at Weaver feel like, hey, we got a lot of young talent coming up. The future's very bright there. Both of these communities, I think, are very excited about high school football for 2017 coming up.
Absolutely, and you see the teams coming out onto the field and the excitement being generated for these guys to be playing here. This is an event we've been hosting for several years now, and it never gets old for these teams to come out and play on the turf at here in a college stadium that holds 25,000 people. It's quite a new experience for a lot of these kids.
And this event has grown over the years. It began really with a single game a few years ago as Walter Welborn played Westbrook Christian here in a single full game that we televised here on TV 24. And out of that, the next year, it grew to all 7 Calhoun County system schools participating in this, and then also they add an invited team because they have an odd number of teams with the 7. So they have a different team each year that is invited, and this year that invited team from the outside you'll see tomorrow night is the Russellville Golden Tigers. So even though we're not going to have full kicking right here, Carl, we are going to have an actual kickoff here as Ohatchee will be kicking to Weaver to begin the game.
Ohatchee in the white and Weaver in red, and here we go with the opening kickoff. The ball will be fielded at about the 16-yard line, but I think we'll be doing the kickoff. There will be no contact during the kickoff because special teams is one of those areas where if you're going to have injuries, a lot of times they're going to happen in special teams and in practice games like this. So each time we'll have a kickoff so the kickers can get accustomed to kicking, but we're not going to have a return, and we're going to put the ball at the 35-yard line each time for the offense. So the Bearcats will be first on offense here at the Calhoun County Spring Jam of 2017. Shotgun formation for the quarterback. He's going to hand off. The quarterback is Dalton Hamby. The play's going to gain about 2 yards up to the 37-yard line.
Hamby, an experienced quarterback, of course, the son of the head coach, Daryl Hamby, a guy who will be a senior. One of the things we'll talk about during the course of this game, Carl, is the fact that this is a very talented team, but it's still a young team at Weaver. Only 8 seniors coming up on this team this year, but they have very talented sophomore and junior classes coming along. But Hamby, being a senior, one of those returning starters.
Hamby fakes the handoff. The toss this time goes back to Drake Monroe. Monroe on the near sideline. He's got nothing but room. And very quickly, I believe that is Monroe, The numbers on those jerseys are very difficult to read, even on the camera. So that's either going to be Monroe or Shamar Spinks. I'm not sure if that's a 1 or a 7.
That is Shamar Spinks, number 7. Just an option pitch that time, comes all the way to the sideline. One guy to beat, and he beat him. That was number 11 for Ohatchee. You saw there Grayson Alward coming up. The junior missed the tackle as we see the pitch once again. Good job by Hamby, drawing in the defenders, makes the pitch at the last moment. And then Spinks able to get to the outside. That's another one of those key returnees for Weaver. That is a great player coming back for 2017.
And the point after is going to be good. That's number 75, Riley Benavides. Senior kicker. Puts it through the uprights, and very quickly the Bearcats are on the board. 7-0 over the Ohatchee Indians.
Not a bad start for Daryl Hamby and the Weaver Bearcats. Second play from scrimmage, getting a long touchdown run. And, you know, Benavides, you look at that, not only a great offensive lineman, he's a very valuable player for this Weaver team. We've been watching him for a couple of years. Has to be one of the largest place kickers in the state of Alabama.
I believe you're right, yeah.
He is a fantastic place kicker, though. A lot of times you see a guy as a big guy, and you're thinking place kickers are supposed to be these small guys, small, compact guys. He's actually a very good kicker, and made that extra point. 7-0 Weaver on top of Ohatchee. Ohatchee had some big losses from last year, including 3 Pigskin Roundup All-Star team members, number of All-State guys in Class 3A. As we said last year, basically, I felt like they were the second best team behind Piedmont in all Class 3A football last year, and lost a lot of guys off that team, like Austin Tucker at tailback, and Taylor Eubanks at quarterback, and Caleb Montgomery, all 3 of the offensive linemen. All 3 of those were All-Staters. All 3 of those were Pigskin Roundup All-Star players as well. So they've got some holes to replace, but one of the guys we're going to be looking at, Carl, is going to be number 2, Jesse Sellers. That's the name that gets the Ohatchee folks' attention, and that's the guy to watch really this year for Ohatchee heading into the 2017 season.
And here's the kickoff from Benavides. It'll go into the end zone. Again, not a 100% live kicking game. We'll bring the ball out down to the 35-yard line where the offense will have the opportunity for the Ohatchee Indians. Again, it is the Calhoun County Spring Jam of 2017, brought to you by ERA King Real Estate. And happy to be here at Jacksonville State University for another year to let these kids play on this field, and live on TV and streaming online at tv24.tv as you take a look at Scott Martin, the head coach of the Ohatchee Indians.
Scott Martin, our Pigskin Roundup Coach of the Year, as you saw there, and really one of the great stories in all of high school football last year in the state of Alabama was the dramatic turnaround by the Ohatchee program, having their best season in 13 years and their second best season overall in school history, only behind that 77 state championship team in Class 1A. There you see Coach Martin there, and he will try to replicate that success again in 2017 out on the creek bank.
Signing in a quarterback for the Indians is number 11, Grayson Alward. Alward with a handoff. Play will get out to the 45-yard line. It may be enough for a first down. We'll see where the mark is. And it looks like the mark is going to be just enough for a first down for Jesse Sellers, the senior running back you mentioned earlier.
As Sellers had last year a lot of big plays, an explosive player, but he kind of shared the carries back there. The workhorse was Austin Tucker, and Eubanks really was like another running back at the quarterback position. This year the focus will squarely be, however, on Jesse Sellers, and you saw some of his power that time, dragging players for about 5 yards at the first down.
Alward keeps it himself over the right side of the line, powering across midfield into about the 48-yard line.
And that's power football. You mentioned that word, Carl. We'll mention that a lot talking about Ohatchee. That was their calling card last year. Big offensive line. They've got that big offensive line again, breaking in a new quarterback for Taylor Eubanks, but so far that first run by Alward looked very good, as he was able to drag a couple of players and picked up now close to 6 yards, almost 7 actually, inside Weaver territory at the 48.
Second and about 3 for the Indians. Hand off to the inside man. He'll get to the 45-yard line. And that is going to be number 18, Kevin Williamson, another senior running back for the Indians.
Williamson close to the first down, about a half yard short, needs to go to the 45. The ball sitting between the 45 and 46. And as far as scheme goes, obviously the players have changed, Carl, but we haven't seen anything different from Ohatchee than what they did last year. Power football, and they're going to run the ball most times, and that's been the modus operandi, so to speak, and there it is again, 3 yards in the cloud of dust, and they do it again, getting 3 yards and another first down.
Jesse Sellers picks up the first down at the 43-yard line for the Indians. Sellers and Kevin Williamson, the two running backs we're going to see a lot of tonight.
They'll come in, as you see here in this formation, what we've seen so far in this opening drive by Ohatchee, really know what we would call a wide receiver. You lined up with a quarterback in the shotgun, and you lined up with an offset back, really an H-back, and almost a guy, what we would see in the wing tee, almost a offset back sitting at an angle over there on that far side. That time, though, Weaver clogs it up.
A little bit of a miscue on the snap. The snap was low. Allward had a hard time getting it to Sellers, and Weaver had already collapsed that inside there. Nowhere to go for Sellers once he catches the ball.
Another big offensive line for the Ohatchee Indians.
So we're looking at 2nd down and 13 for Ohatchee. A little slip coming around the end. Play will gain up to the 44-yard line. Looked at Kevin Williamson on the carry.
Williamson coming around an end-around play, and again, a great job by Weaver of penetration that time, kind of blowing up that in the backfield. Then he slipped on the turf here, and now it's a 3rd down and long situation, almost 12 yards to get the first down.
We'll see what they've decided to do. If we make it to 4th down, what we've decided to do with the kicking game there. The 3rd down, just more than 11 to go for the Indians. This time Allward shows throw. He's rolling to the outside. Nobody to throw to, so he's going to tuck it, keep it himself. He'll pick up the first down and go down from behind at the 25-yard line, or just shy of the 25-yard line. So a good job of Allward there, turning nothing into something as there was nobody free to throw the ball to.
Everybody wondering what Ohatchee would have at quarterback. Allward has shown some good wheels early on. First pass attempt of the game, decided to pull it down and run, and again, did a good job of dodging tackles that time, eluding a defender. Weaver's Mardrick Elston was in the backfield, but he just outran him and turned the corner and got the first down.
First down at the 25-yard line for the Indians. Allward looks to throw again, this time coming to the near side. He's going to have to tuck it and run again, and he'll gain 6 yards on the play into the 19-yard line.
Allward will play action bootleg again this time. Last time they went to the right side. This time they learned the bootleg to the left side. Again, no one open. Good coverage by Weaver downfield. But again, able to elude a Weaver defender in the backfield. That time he pulled away from Drake Monroe. Was able to get more positive yards. And what looked like it might be a loss in the backfield picked up about 5 yards on first down.
Yeah, they'll call it a 5-yard gain to the 20-yard line. So 2nd and 5 to go for Ohatchee. Allward shotgun as before. Hand off to Sellers. Sellers jumps over the line and stays on his feet. He will gain to about the 16-yard line before they'll blow the whistle on him.
And this is right down Scott Martin's alley. It's 3rd and 1, but he's okay with that. They're ripping off 5 yards, 4 yards, come back on 3rd down. If you get 3 or 4 yards here, he loves, I tell you, I think Coach Scott Martin loves 3rd and short situations because it's demoralizing to a defense, Carl, when you got them in 3rd down, but it's a short 3rd down and they get the first down and keep moving those chains. And that's exactly what Ohatchee does to you.
3rd and 1. Allward looking to throw this time, going to the end zone, and it's a touchdown for the Ohatchee Indians. The receiver, number 18, Kevin Williamson.
A lot of question marks about this Ohatchee team at the skill positions coming into this season. But on this first drive, Carl, I think they're starting to get some answers. Kevin Williamson looks good at wide receiver. I've been very impressed with Allward. At quarterback, we knew what Jesse Sellers could do, kind of being the feature back in the backfield, but they have not depended upon Sellers as much as I thought they would. A nice drive down the field, only that one pass, but that was for a touchdown.
So here is the point after for Ohatchee. It's good, and that'll tie us up here in the first game of the Calhoun County Spring Jamboree. We're going to take a break. Be back in a moment.
The 2017 college football season kicks off in Montgomery. The Guardian Credit Union FCS kickoff will open the college football season on Saturday, August 26th at 5 p.m. Central Time on ESPN. Don't miss two of the nation's top-ranked FCS teams, the Jacksonville State University Gamecocks and the University of Tennessee at Chattanooga Mocs at historic Crampton Bowl. Visit GuardianKickoffClassic.com for the FanFest schedule of events and game information.
You will take more than 672 million breaths throughout your lifetime. Yet life is not measured by the number of breaths you take, but by the moments that take your breath away. JSU is proud to offer Northeast Alabama's only Bachelor of Science in Respiratory Therapy. Now enrolling tomorrow's breathing specialist. Breathe easy.
Yeah, we come back to action here at the Calhoun County Spring Jamboree, game number one of tonight's two games, and that's Weaver and Ohatchee. The kicking game is not live. They're just kicking. Then they're going to put the ball on the 35-yard line. We'll keep reiterating that for those of you who are just joining us, being a spring game. There will be a few little shortcuts taken throughout the night tonight. John, I do believe we're playing 3 regular quarters, and then the JV will come in for the fourth quarter, kind of reset everything, and just let the JV guys have a chance to play a little bit as well.
That's my understanding also.
Dalton Hamby with the handoff. That's Shamar Spinks on the carry. He'll get to the 43-yard line. That'll be an 8-yard gain on the first play for the Bearcats.
One of the key losses by Weaver was Paul Hubbard. We've been watching Paul Hubbard for 4 or 5 years. He's been playing since the 8th grade, and Darryl Hamby will be missing him. But Darryl Hamby's been very successful and consistent as the head coach of the Weaver Bearcats. 4 straight playoff berths, coaches football and basketball. Had their best record last year in 11 seasons. And that was one of the better Weaver teams. Obviously the best team we've seen in a decade or so, as the Bearcats won 9 games and made it to the 3A quarterfinals in 2016.
Hamby rolling to the near side, looking to throw. Short pass is complete to London Knight Sr. out at the 46-yard line.
London Knight with a great pass. We've seen a couple of players, one from Ohatchee, one from Weaver, kind of getting adjusted to the turf here. As that time, he probably could have gotten some more yards after the catch, but slipped down and allowed Ohatchee to come in and make the tackle. So both teams moving the ball well.
He's not London Knight Senior the way the roster is read. He is a senior. So there we go. He'll be a senior when we come back to play in the fall. So first down at the 46-yard line for the Bearcats. Shamar Spinks in the backfield behind Dalton Hamby. Toss to Spinks around the left side. Nice block there on the front. And Spinks is going to be forced out of bounds. They're going to mark it at the 47-yard line. But you talked about Riley Benavides. What a block he got right there.
Absolutely. Just a simple toss pitch going to Shamar Spinks. Did a good job of waiting on his blocks. There's that devastating block that you talked about. And then a stiff forearm by Spinks. And, you know, we talked about Paul Hubbard and missing him, the kind of a guy that played virtually every position throughout the years for Weaver and Coach Hamby. Shamar Spinks might be that next Paul Hubbard type guy coming up for Weaver now.
Second down, about 3 for the Bearcats. Toss goes out to the near side. Wide open running space for Spinks. And he'll be dragged down. They'll mark him down, say his knees were down at about the 3-yard line. He was dragged down from behind.
Pretty simple for the Weaver offense. Just give the ball to Shamar Spinks. High snap, but they come on an option pitch once again. Spinks goes through a hole, breaks a tackle, and then look at the move to cut back to the inside, turned around an Ohatchee defender, and takes it all the way down to the 2-yard line. But there are 2 yellow flags on the field, and that is going to come back. Normally, that would be a hold. We'll get the official call here from the referees. And by the way, that would be the first penalties we've had of this game.
Absolutely. And again, as we always talk about during the spring jam games, the referees are practicing as well. This is the 5 games of our spring football event here with TV 24. Also act as a training camp for referees. They can get out here and get a little training and and some special things going on during the spring. They're training some new referees who are moving up into the high school level. We saw that last weekend, and just being observed and honing their skills on the field as well.
So after the penalty, Weaver will actually gain, because the block was down, the hole was downfield, they'll actually gain a yard off of that. So it'll be 2nd down and 9. But that negates, they would have been set up with minus the penalty, 1st and goal at the 2.
Play from the 47-yard line. Hamby goes to the air. Nice toss, but it's going to go right through the hands of the intended receiver, and that is Jaden Calhoun, number 5, who is
Calhoun almost made a great catch there, right in his hands. And I think just the hand that the defender got up, the Ohatchee defender over there, was Bailey Graham. Graham actually able to come in and just kind of stick a hand up at the last minute. That was enough of a distraction to take his eye off the ball and drop it down inside the 20. But a pretty good connection there on the first passing attempt of the game by Weaver.
So 3rd and 9 for the Bearcats. Wideouts to both sides for Hamby. Hamby's going to keep it up to the line of scrimmage, then tosses it back to London Knight. And Knight will get close to that 1st down at the 44-yard line. Will depend on the mark.
Dangerous pitch that time. Hamby looked like he was going to take it all the way up the field, and at the very last moment, pitched it. And look at that nice hit. A good tackle over there by Ohatchee's Grayson Allward, the quarterback, coming in and laying the wood from his linebacker position, or I should say DB position on defense. So you're right, Carl. It is going to be close enough that the officials are going to measure this. So as you talked about, it's a good time for them to practice their measurement as well.
Absolutely.
You'll practice to the chain gang also.
John, talk to us a little bit about what spring practice is like for these kids when they have their spring training out there. They're at the end of spring training. Graduation for all of these schools is coming up next week. What have they been doing over the last couple of weeks?
Well, you know, there's 2 important points I think that need to be made about spring. First thing is, this has always been true, you get a lot of guys who have never played football before coming out in the spring. This is the time that the coaches allow new guys to join the program. So you get a lot of new guys tasting it for the first time. I think the second thing is, and this is relatively new over the last couple of years, this is only the 10th day of practice. They've only had 9 practices. Wow. And I think that's one of the reasons we don't see many teams electing to have live kicking, because they just haven't had time to really get into special teams at all.
Hand off to Knight. Knight will get inside the 40-yard line, go down at about the 39. Be about a 5-yard gain on the play for the Bearcats.
And saying that, Carl, we're sitting here with 9 days of practice. I'm very impressed. And usually the defense is ahead of the offense. And I'm very impressed with the offenses of both of these teams. So we're going to have another penalty, it looks like, going to be whistled against Weaver here. But I'm impressed so far with how crisp the offenses have been. They have been really on for this first quarter of this game. They're moving the football. A couple of penalties here have hurt Weaver on this drive. But for the most part, this has been some pretty cleanly played football, and I'm really impressed by the execution here with only 9 days of practice.
Certainly, and now we have 1st down and 15 after the penalty. We move the ball back to the 49-yard line. Hamby under center this time. Rolling to the near side, looks to throw. He's got an open receiver, and it's right off his hands. Right off his hands. That was a touchdown waiting to happen. Jaden Calhoun, the freshman, again, lets one bounce off his hands.
Well, Calhoun the first time, there was maybe a hand that got in the way. This time, this is just a drop. It was laid right in his hands. A perfect pass from Dalton Hamby. Wouldn't have mattered anyway, because there's another penalty whistled against the Weaver Bearcats. So another 5-yard penalty, probably a false start or an illegal shift. And so now they just keep going backwards because of the penalties. But I'm very impressed. Maybe the most impressive thing that I'm taking away for Weaver from this jamboree is Dalton Hamby. A great he's been a great player for his dad, Darrell Hamby, at Weaver. But it looks like he's taken his game to another level here in the spring. His decision-making, running the football, throwing the football has been very impressive here this afternoon.
Again, a handoff up the middle for the Bearcats. Spinks will carry the ball to the 50-yard line. It'll be about a 4-yard gain. But that's still going to be 2nd down and 16 to go for the Bearcats.
The early returns, I think, Carl, for both of these teams, from what we've seen here in 1 quarter of play in the spring is, I think there are a lot of concerns, especially for Ohatchee, but for Weaver as well, about what kind of teams they might have coming back after the great seasons that both of these had last year. I'm seeing 2 really good 3A football teams right here so far.
Absolutely. Hamby with the toss. Spinks around the far side, gets a little room, and is forced out of bounds at the 36-yard line. Still will be shy of the 1st down, but he's made it now 3rd and about 2. A little bit third and a little over 1 now for the Bearcats.
That's very impressive by the Weaver offense. Despite the penalties, despite all the big plays missed because of penalties, they still are now in a very makeable 3rd down and about 1.5 yards to go. And that's a testament to how they've moved the football here in this 1st quarter.
2 minutes to go in the 1st quarter. Hamby under center this time. This time the handoff goes to Knight, and Knight will pick up the 1st down and go all the way to the 29-yard line.
I wouldn't call it an Eddie Lacy spin, but that was a pretty good spin move at the line of scrimmage that time by London Knight. Taking the ball at the line of scrimmage, anticipated the hit coming, able to spin away from the defender and go and get the 1st down. Another impressive drive by Weaver. Both of these teams, can't say it enough how impressive they have looked on offense here in quarter number 1.
After those penalties, initially Weaver was looking at 1st down and 20 yards to go, and they've made up that deficit. Picked up the 1st down here at the 29-yard line. Hamby again will go under center. Handoff again to Spinks. And he'll be picked up and tossed down at the 24-yard line.
Spinks not the biggest guy in the world. We've seen what he can do on the outside, but not scared to stick it up in there on the inside runs as well. And we talked about how big the Ohatchee offensive line is, how big and physical they are. But tell you what, this Weaver this Weaver offensive line is also some nice size up there. And we mentioned Riley Benavides, 75 in there, but one of the guys that is going to become, I think, a household name around Calhoun County as we move through the years is going to be a guy named Caleb Allison up there on the front. They have got a tremendously talented young group of offensive linemen coming up. You see Allison over here playing at this guard position. They have some really good young talent on the OL at Weaver.
Hamby with a handoff to Caleb Allison. And he'll gain to inside the 20-yard line. See if they'll call that a 1st down or not. Looks like he's probably got it. Yes, that is the indication. So a 1st down, another 1st down for Weaver, this time at the 19-yard line. Quick note about a change this year for Spring Jam, and that will be during halftime. Bands are usually not ready to perform at this point of the spring. So what we're going to be doing at halftime of all of the Spring Jam games over the next 2 days, we'll be featuring the bands, but we'll be featuring their performance from back in the fall at the Calhoun County Band Exposition. This time another toss for Weaver. Shamar Spinks is going to waltz right on in for another touchdown for the Bearcats.
Yes, Shamar Spinks with 2 touchdowns, and on both of those touchdown runs, he's been virtually untouched going into the end zone. And again, just the simple tall sweep. Outside, picks through the hole, great blocking, and again, he was not even touched until he crossed the goal line with a little shove in the back. And Weaver responding again as they drive all the way the length of the field and score yet another touchdown. 2 for 2 for the Weaver Bearcats.
There's the point after, and it is going to be good for Benavides. 4 seconds to go in the 1st quarter. Again, as we mentioned earlier, talking about how we're going to handle halftime, we will be featuring the bands. As you look there at the Weaver Band, we'll feature the bands, but we'll be featuring their full performances from the Calhoun County Band Expo that was held back in the fall, that was aired on TV 24. So we'll be featuring the bands for each game. So you'll have an opportunity to enjoy the bands at halftime, just like a lot of people like to do.
And one of the things I like about the Calhoun County Spring Jam is you get every school bringing their band and their cheerleaders, so it feels like a real football game. I don't know if Russellville will do that, coming as far as they're coming from Northwest Alabama, making about a 4-hour trip down here. But the Calhoun County teams that are in that, the 7 Calhoun County teams, will have their band and cheerleaders here, and it really adds to the atmosphere. And we have got a tremendous game here, 14-7, and we have seen a lot of talent from these two teams already here in quarter number 1.
And again, our simulated kicking game, we will have the kickoff so the kickers can practice. There will not be a return, though. It will be fielded with no return, and we'll let the time wind off the clock and end the first quarter of action with your score 14-7. We're going to show you some of these touchdowns from the first quarter as we go to break. We'll be back.
I was finally ready to buy my first home after renting for the last several years. As I started my search, I got overwhelmed by how many websites and confusing listings there are. That's when I found the experts at ERA King. To me, ERA means expertise, reliability, and activity. I depended on them to find a home in my budget, and they didn't stop working until the keys were in my hands. ERA King. To us, it means always doing the right thing for every client. What will ERA mean to you? Find out at eraking.com.
Strongest.
2017 Calhoun County Spring Jam continues at Jacksonville State University. We're live on TV 24 and streaming live at tv24.tv or on your live stream app. If you have your mobile device with you, download the live stream app, search for WEAC TV 24, and there you will find the Spring Jam day number 1 for the live stream there. Ohatchee starts off the second quarter with a handoff to number 7, Dominique Thomas. Thomas runs into to the line of scrimmage, bounces out, and nobody realizes that he's the one that's got the ball.
Very tough-looking run by Dominique Thomas, who ran over that last Weaver defender and almost broke it all the way for a touchdown.
This time, Allred again with the handoff to Thomas.
Thomas again, another new name, a guy that folks don't know as of yet, but the first 2 carries are looking very good early from Mr. Dominique Thomas. And, Thomas, number 7, 10th grade to be rising 10th grade running back for Ohatchee. Looking good here as we're going to have a timeout called by the Ohatchee Indian. Actually, a timeout called by Weaver.
Yeah, Weaver's calling that timeout. So we'll take a quick break with them. Be back in a moment.
Huge hailstorm equals huge savings at Buster Miles Ford in Heflin. Come experience a stress-free buying process during our hail sale and save thousands. Over 300 vehicles must go. The damage so small on some and saving so big on others. We have brought the professionals in to fix the cars right. Work has begun for our loss and your gain. Come take advantage of these savings, hopefully never to be seen again. Buster Miles Ford in Heflin off I-20, exit 199. The difference worth driving since 1947.
It's an exciting time for Alexandria, and we're looking forward to the positive impact a new school will have for our community, our teachers, and also, most importantly, the positive impact it'll have on student learning. A new school means opportunity, a new school means growth. Our students are able to see their school being built, and we're just proud that we're getting to celebrate that with them. And go Cubs!
Back to action at the Calhoun County Spring Jam as the carry by the quarterback number 11, Grayson Allward. He'll gain to about the 49-yard line. It'll be about a 1-yard gain, second down and 9 to go for the Indians.
I am very pleasantly pleased with how both of these football teams look. I think if you're a Weaver fan, if you're an Ohatchee fan, you're seeing this first half unfold here at JSU Stadium. You have got to be pleased with the prospects for your team again in 2017.
Allward with a handoff. Play will gain to the 45-yard line. And again, that will be Dominique Thomas on the carry for the Indians.
These teams, of course, compete in the same region, 3A Region 5. And last year, this was the Ohatchee-Weaver game was kind of really Ohatchee's coming out party. That game that was played at Bill Bryan Stadium in Weaver, where both teams came in undefeated, and Ohatchee came in and won the game 41-21.
This time Allward looks to throw a short pass to about the 42-yard line. They have a flag on the play. And number 21, the receiver, Woodrow Weiss, the tight end. And when it's like he realized the flag was thrown, so he kind of stopped instead of waiting for the whistle. We'll see what was happening back here. It'll be an illegal block.
It's like a block in the back, so they're going to bring that back against Ohatchee. And I was at that game last year out at Bill Bryan Stadium. Very hyped up game, packed house, both teams undefeated, a lot of momentum. And Ohatchee came in just right off the bat and really took control of that game, led big. Weaver got a couple of late scores to make it closer, but it was a very impressive performance. I think that's when everybody around East Alabama and frankly around the state started really paying close attention to Ohatchee after the performance against a very good Weaver team. They went on to win 9 football games and make the state quarterfinals. And I think since that time, basically Ohatchee's been on the roll, the program has.
Third down at the 48-yard line for Ohatchee. A little miscue on the snap. Allward couldn't pick it up, and Thomas is able to fall on it for only about a yard loss back to the 49-yard line. That'll be fourth down. First time today we've seen a fourth down.
We haven't seen a simulated punt, and we may not yet, because it looks like Scott Martin at the Weaver 49 is going to go for it here, Carl, 4th and 9.
That's exactly what it looks like. Allward. And we're going to have an offsides called against Weaver.
It's going to make it makeable now. They'll give them a free 5 yards and make it a 4th down and 4. Of course, Coach Martin might elect to do the same thing again to see if he can pick up a free first down. Worth a shot.
That moves the ball to the 44-yard line, 4th and 4 for Ohatchee.
Ohatchee having to make a late substitution. Jarquez Minifield, the senior offensive lineman, coming to the sideline. I think that's going to force another timeout.
Yeah, Weaver's going to call a timeout here again. We'll take the break as well. We'll be back.
The moment rain hits the ground, it begins a journey through your neighborhood. Along the way, this storm water encounters a lot of harmful stuff, including excess fertilizer, yard clippings, motor oil, even pet waste. Water then carries these pollutants into the storm drain and directly into the nearest river, lake, or stream, polluting our waterways. Visit cleanwatercampaign.com for more. Help be a solution to water pollution.
Weaver leads at 14-7 over the Ohatchee Indians as we come back to action. Allward is in trouble. We have a flag already down. I think that's going to be a face mask. But Allward still finding some room to run, trying his best to get out of that mess. He gets to the 43-yard line, but again, the flag laying down at the 32.
Amazing the number of escapes that Allward was able to come out of that time. Probably broke 6 or 7 tackles, was at one time back all the way inside the 25-yard line. Face mask was pulled just briefly there for a moment and able to come all the way back outside the 45-yard line after all of that. So there's a flag on the field, and the officials will sort this out. Look like, from our vantage point, a face mask that would be whistled against Weaver.
That was the initial indication from the referee.
Still some discussion going on. I think the discussion is from where the infraction happened to where the ball was, is the face mask against Weaver.
We're going to have a look at that again.
So there's the face mask. He grabbed it pretty good there. That was pretty obvious. Breaks 1 tackle, breaks 2 tackles, and broke about 3 more tackles and brought it all the way back outside the 45. So I think they're the big thing, trying to determine where to place the ball after he lost yards. It was actually technically would be a sack, and then coming forward, and they decided to put the ball, it looks like, at the 48-yard line.
About 15 yards from where the face mask was, because he didn't get that far on the play. So
now we have a more stoppage in play, and they've got to get the chain gang situated. That's what they're waiting on over there.
It'll be 4th down and about 12 to go for Ohatchee from their own 48-yard line. Now the officials are going to get together and talk again.
They're going to talk with Scott Martin. He's wanting some clarification over there. And still no indication, even on a 4th down and about 12 here, that Scott Martin is going to punt the football. It's like he's going to go for it on 4th and a dozen from his own 48. Spring game, why not?
Allward backing up into a long shotgun, so he is going to punt it. But there will not be a return. It'll punt out of bounds. It'll go out of bounds.
So after a short punt, pretty good field position here for the Weaver Bearcats. You know, kind of like what we see in the Calhoun County tournaments that go on throughout the year, basketball and baseball and softball and so forth. The host school each year rotates. All the schools contribute and back and participate. But there's one school tasked with, I guess, game management.
Right.
And the same thing happens with this Calhoun County Spring Jam. And this year, that team that is rotating in, the school that will be hosting this, is Sachs High School. Jody Whaley and his folks over there hosting this thing. So they're responsible for parking, selling tickets, game management, all those sorts of things that go along with that. And from what I have seen already here, the folks from Sachs are Johnny on the spot doing a great job of running things here during this 2-day Calhoun County Spring Jam.
Absolutely. We've had some meetings with them. We work out all of the details, and they're deciding exactly what we're going to do. We did not get a list of the ground rules this time. You know, normally in our spring games, we don't have a live punting game. We move the ball 35 yards for a punt. And so they had initially put the ball at the 35-yard line. Now they're moving it back to the 20. There was no return, so I guess they just decided to do that.
they didn't account for Scott Martin electing to fake us all out.
To fake it out, yeah.
With a quick kick, so to speak, on 4th down.
So Weaver back on offense from their own 20-yard line. Hamby fakes the handoff, keeps it himself, rolls to the far side, dumps off a short pass. And they'll be forced out of bounds at the 39-yard line. They'll mark him at the 38-yard line. That was London Knight on the carry.
That's a play we're seeing more and more of trickling down to high school football. That play is reminiscent of a play that Auburn ran a lot when Nick Marshall was quarterback, normally throwing to Sammy Coates, most noticeably in that kick 6 game against Alabama, where they had that touchdown before the kick 6, where it comes right up to the line of scrimmage like Hamby did that time, comes right to the line. At the very last moment, then pulls up and finds a receiver downfield. Very effective play. It's tough to defend because you make that defender make a decision, either cover the quarterback or cover that wide receiver.
First down at the 42-yard line. Carry goes right up the far hash mark. That's going to be Caleb Allison on the carry. He'll get across midfield, almost to the 48-yard line, and almost picks up a first down.
Allison, as we mentioned earlier, has played offensive line a lot in the past, a young player, but now playing like a fullback, H-back position here in the spring jam, and been pretty effective at that.
Second about 1 for the Bearcats. Hamby, shotgun formation, 2 wide outs to the near side. The toss. Out of bounds at the 48-yard line. It looks like that we will have enough for a first down. Shamar Spinks there. They're going to mark him shy of the 48-yard line, so they're going to say basically no gain. So second down and still 1 to go. Third down, still 1 to go.
Riker Lambright coming up to make that tackle that time, and a good adjustment by the Ohatchee coaching staff. The first quarter of this game, getting that little option there from Hamby, giving them some problems. That time, they did a very good job of handling that, stringing that out, putting an extra defender out there, and they got no gain on the play. So good defensive call by Ohatchee.
Hamby takes the snap, hands the ball off to the first guy through the line. He will pick up the first down. He'll get to about the 47-yard line. I believe that's going to be Allison again. It is number 30, Caleb Allison, and the junior.
These first down. Short down situations are going to be trouble for Weaver opponents this year. When they can turn around and give it to a guy like Caleb Allison, that's a tough guy to stop for a yard or two. So they've got a pretty new weapon back there in the backfield now in short yardage situations.
So first and 10 at the 47-yard line for the Bearcats. Hamby rolls to the far side, looks to throw, gets the pass off, completed the 40. Going to pick up a little extra room. Looks like we may have a touchdown here, and we do. Touchdown for the Weaver Bearcats, and this time it is going to be Robert Gaines.
And again, a nice looking pass from Dalton Hamby. Hamby on the rollout, on the move, right on target. Good catch. Nice move, slipped through 2 Ohatchee defenders, and then basically jogs into the end zone for the Weaver touchdown. Weaver looking very good here early on as they've had 3 possessions, 3 touchdowns, and Weaver with 21 points just a quarter and a half in.
Benavides for the extra point. No rush for the spring game, and it will be good. And Weaver will take a 21-7 lead with about 6.5 minutes remaining in the first half at the Calhoun County Spring Jam.
When it comes to great tasting barbecue, nobody does it better than Dad's Barbecue. Dad's Barbecue is slow hickory cooked to perfection, and Dad's menu includes a wide selection of popular items such as our smoked chicken sandwich, ribs, salads, and the best chicken fingers in town. And Dad's offers fresh homemade hamburgers and hand-dipped ice cream shakes. Dad's utilizes the latest technology to ensure that your orders are always accurate and hot out of the kitchen. Family owned and operated since 1985, Dad's Barbecue with 2 locations in Anniston to serve you.
Hi, this is Kevin Riggin with the all-new Tameron Honda in Gadsden. We're excited to be one of the newest and fastest growing Honda dealers in Central Alabama. And with every new Tameron Honda, you get a 250,000-mile powertrain guarantee. I've personally been serving Central Alabama for over 25 years with all your Honda needs. Come see me today or check out our website at TameronHondaGadsden.com. Tameron Honda in Gadsden, where you're going to love the way you're treated.
As you have a nice look at the May sky here at the Calhoun County Spring Jam, sky over Jacksonville State University. Burgess Snowfield live for the Spring Jam, live on TV 24 and streaming live at TV24.tv. Game number 1 of the 4 games of the Calhoun County Spring Jam. Again, the kicking game not 100% live. We'll put the ball at the 35-yard line for Ohatchee to take over on offense. John, we were talking about how impressed we are with how both of these teams, how good both of these teams look for a spring game. We saw that last weekend in the Gridiron Challenge games as well. We saw some really good football. I think these spring games, with the popularity of the Spring Jam, knowing they're playing on TV, knowing they're playing at JSU, I think the team step it up a little bit. Instead of having just a practice game, they're taking this thing seriously.
Absolutely. It's a chance to really – there's a lot of eyeballs on this, not only here in the stadium, but folks watching live on TV 24 and watching really anywhere in the world via the live stream at TV24.tv.
Handoff for the Bearcats. Number 2, Jesse Sellers on the carry. He'll get to about the 42-yard line. You talk about a lot of eyes. I know last weekend there were a lot of college scout eyes watching the games as well. So it's a good opportunity when we have a lot of games all together. You'll see scouts from a lot of the big-name schools here watching some of these kids. They may be here to watch somebody else, like we always say. But if you show out in this game, you might get some attention too.
Absolutely right. No doubt about that.
Another handoff for the Indians. We're going to have flags on the play back here in the backfield, and we'll probably end up with some unsportsmanlike conduct calls there. A couple of blows being passed.
There has been, on some of these plays already early on, a little extracurricular activity. Some jawing and things like that going on, and there was a lot of that time and right in front of the officials. And so we'll see what they call here.
Official call was holding. Either he wasn't watching the extracurricular after the holding, or he's just going to let it slide. There was enough extracurricular there. Had this been a regular season game, there probably would have been an ejection.
And Ohatchee is going to call a timeout, and I don't think that Coach Scott Martin, I think he wants a little bit more of an explanation about some of the things that happened after that. So we'll see what happens here. But nonetheless, these two teams know each other very well. Region opponents, big rivals.
I got back my smack talk touchdown, hole-in-one, three-point home run, hat trick pavement pounding, record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm going to get back to doing what I love. I'm going to get back to winning.
Hello, I'm Joe Dyer, Superintendent of Calhoun County Schools. We have some awesome news for you that's upcoming in Calhoun County.
Here at White Plains High School, we're very proud to announce several new renovations that are taking place, in addition to one of our gyms, as well as a new track for our track team, and also new bleachers for our football and band. A very special thank you to Mr. Dyer and all of our board members who've made these things possible. Go Wildcats.
Back to Burgess Snowfield at JSU Stadium on the campus of beautiful Jacksonville State University for the Calhoun County Spring Jam, coming back after the timeout called by the Ohatchee Indians. Ohatchee on offense. They've got second down and about 18 to go. Grayson Allward, the quarterback there, with a handoff to Sellers. Sellers going to gain out to the 35-yard line. Pretty much back to the original line of scrimmage.
What's impressive, Carl, about Ohatchee is true last year, true. We just saw it right there. They had a 6-man front, basically 9 guys in the box, because everybody knows what Ohatchee's going to do 90% of the time. They're going to run the football downhill at you. And that time Weaver still gave up 6-7 yards on that.
Third down, 10 to go for the Indians. Allward in the shotgun. Double handoff there. Kevin Williamson with the ball, and he's going to get to the 41-yard line. A 6-yard gain on that play. A little misdirection there for the Indians.
That's what Ohatchee decides to do here. This is a 4th down and about 3.5 at their own 41.5. Scott Martin again showing that he is maybe thinking about going for it. Now, the last time it was a quick kick, but they're actually signaling plays this time, Carl, so I think they're going for it.
4th and about 3.5, as you said. Allward takes the snap, handoff. Sellers is not going to make the first down. He'll get to the 43.5-yard line before being brought down by Weaver.
So the Weaver defense holds, and they'll have excellent field position now as they'll take over the ball at the Ohatchee 44 with 4:27 in the half, plenty of time. And this, if Weaver can score here, that would be almost a commanding lead if they could throw another one on the board before halftime.
Team's a little slow making the transition here. But it will be first down for Weaver at the 44-yard line.
Weaver offense has been so impressive. Offensive line big. You got Shamar Spinks back there in the background, who is in the backfield, who's been just phenomenal. A couple of big touchdown runs. Great quarterback. I think Dalton Hamby has just been sensational here this afternoon. And then Caleb Allison, they lined him up now as a wide receiver.
Hamby from the shotgun, tossed to Spinks. Spinks around the far side, inside the 40-yard line. He'll go down to about the 38. They mark him all the way up to the 37.
Solid 6-yard gain on first down. They lined up Allison as a wide receiver, but they brought him in motion and actually turned him into a lead blocker. It's almost like pulling a guard. And he was able to get downfield and put a helmet on a helmet, and they cleared some Ohatchee defenders out and picked up about 6 yards.
Second down, 3.5 to go for the Bearcats. Hamby looks to throw, rolling to the near side. And the pass is going to be incomplete. Spinks was the intended receiver there, but the ball was thrown just a little bit short. That's not Spinks. That is Robert Gaines, the intended receiver.
Hamby under some pressure that time from Briley Hale. Really, to be honest with you, we're 3:40 to go until the half, and that's probably, that wasn't a bad pass, but that's probably the most inaccurate pass that Hamby's thrown. He's been on target with every pass so far except for that one, and that one he was under pressure.
Third down, almost 4 to go for the Bearcats. And we're going to have a flag coming in. Hamby was trying to call timeout.
I think they may have gotten Ohatchee coming into the neutral zone. I think they did. I think the line judge over there said they broke the plane and that it will be an offside against Ohatchee. So that basically gives them a first down, Carl.
First down now at the 33-yard line for Weaver. The referee over there thought about it for a second before he pulled out the flag, because Hamby was already walking off thinking, well, that didn't work, so let's call the timeout.
So the Ohatchee drive continues with another fresh set of first downs for the Bearcats.
Hamby with the toss. Coming to the near side to the 30-yard line. Spinks forced out of bounds at the 30.
One of the things that Spinks is so tough to defend on is the fact that he can get to the corner so quickly. There's Hamby there, option pitch. And look how quickly he gets to the corner. Even with 3 or 4 white jerseys in the neighborhood, he's still able to pick up some positive yards. Still picked up, almost 5 yards there, about 4 yards, even with all the defenders in the territory, because he gets to the corner so quick.
Second down for the Bearcats. 3.5 remaining in the first half action. Passing out to the far side, and we'll have a flag. And forced out of bounds at the 15-yard line. London Knight is the receiver.
Flag was downfield, so we'll see what the call is here. But another very accurate pass by Dalton Hamby.
I think this is going to be called against Weaver. A couple of heads dropped there on the Weaver side.
And so yet another penalty against the Weaver offense. But as we've seen so far in this first half, they had an ineligible receiver downfield. I figured it was probably that or some kind of a offensive hold down the field. or an offensive pass interference, but that was the call, was an ineligible receiver downfield. But as we've seen before, Carl, Weaver's had penalties before and been in many second and third and longs, and they've converted all of them and come right back and get the first down.
That's right. We're at 2nd and 12 for Weaver. Ball at about the 35-yard line. Hamby with the handoff to Spinks. Spinks gets to the 31, about a 4-yard gain on the play.
The Weaver philosophy is here is, yeah, we want to score before the half. We want to eat up some of that time, too, and not give the ball back to Ohatchee.
Again, when we get to halftime, we will feature the bands from these two schools. Not live performances here in the spring, but we will be featuring their performances from last fall's Calhoun County Band Expo. So you'll get to enjoy the bands at halftime of our coverage here of the Spring Jam. Hamby going, looked like he was going deep. Yeah, I think he may have changed his mind just as he started to let the ball go, and it's just going to flutter away and be an incomplete pass.
The receiver was wide open there, but I think maybe a little bit of miscommunication. Maybe at the last minute he looked off one receiver, tried to go to his secondary receiver. The ball just kind of got away from him. We'll have another timeout. This one going to be called again by Weaver.
Weaver has a 21-7 lead. Here the Calhoun County Spring Jam. Coming up after this game, we'll feature Wellborn and Alexandria. That game scheduled for approximately 7 o'clock or so, but technically it will be 10 minutes after the close of this game. We'll give them 10 minutes of warm-up time pregame, and then we'll go right into the next game.
It'll be an interesting game, Carl, because you know, we talk about Weaver and Ohatchee being in the same region with each other, being big rivals. Through the years, through history, Wellborn and Alexandria have been bitter rivals, but in recent years, with Wellborn dropping all the way down to 3A, and of course Alexandria being 5A, they don't play and may not play again for a long time. So a rare opportunity to see two of the traditional powerhouse teams through the years here in East Alabama, and especially in Calhoun County. Alexandria and Walter Wellborn come up at 7 o'clock tonight. We see the Weaver schedule there. Well, went away, but we'll come back to that a little bit later on. There it is, at Hayden, B.B. Comer, Walter Wellborn, the big game. They'll get this Ohatchee team on the Creek Bank September the 22nd. Piedmont, always a big game. Two-time defending state champions at Bill Bryan Stadium October 6th. Then 3 of the last 4 on the road, and some good teams there at Glencoe, at Randolph County, and at Sachs.
Hamby going deep again. He's looking toward the end zone, and it will be intercepted by Ohatchee. We're going to have a return. He'll return it out to the 21-yard line. That's number 18, Kevin Williamson. He's running back and a defensive back. He was able to step in front of that and make the interception right at the goal line.
Hamby just throwing this up, and that was a good throw, but just give all the credit to Kevin Williamson. Williamson making a good play on the football, then able to escape from the wide receiver who had to turn into a defender and got a pretty nice return back up the sideline here. So good positive news there for Ohatchee. They were in danger of going down by 3 touchdowns here at the half, but the defense hold, gets a big turnover, and they get a nice return as well. And now the Indians, Carl, have 2:13 and some time to go to maybe try to score and pull this to within a touchdown at halftime.
Will all be marked down at about the 22-yard line for the Ohatchee Indians. As we looked at the schedule for the rest of the day, tomorrow will be the second day of the Calhoun County Spring Jam. The 4:30 game tomorrow is White Plains and Pleasant Valley, and then the nightcap tomorrow night at 7 will be Sachs and Russellville to cap things off. As Ohatchee takes over on offense. Hand off to Jesse Sellers. Sellers will pick up about a yard, maybe 2, to about the 24-yard line.
Our kickoff temperature today was about 89 degrees, very hot, very humid. One of the things that's happened over the last 30 minutes or so is we've gotten some cloud cover in here, so the sun has gone away. It's still very warm, still in the mid-80s out there, but the sun is not bearing down. We're grateful for that, and there are a few scattered showers around the area. We can't rule out the chance of having a shower here before the night and evening is over.
Second down and 8, and an incomplete pass for the Indians. The intended receiver was Kevin Williamson, and that was just off his fingertips. Led him just a little bit too much, or he was slowed up a little bit by the defender, but would have been an awesome catch had he made it, but just a little bit beyond his reach.
Nice throw by Grayson Alward, and obviously he's a new quarterback, not much playing experience, stepping in for Taylor Eubanks after this phenomenal last 2 seasons or so he's had out at Ohatchee. But I see all the tools necessary for Alward to be a great quarterback for Ohatchee.
Alward under lots of pressure, and he's just having to run for his life, and he's going to go down at the 5-yard line. The Weaver defense just breaking through that offensive line immediately that time.
And that was just some great closing speed by Jake Monroe. Monroe, look at the speed. Chasing him down, full sprint, wrapping up in a nice tackle all the way back at the 5-yard line. So massive loss. And again, Weaver's going to wind up, though, Carl, with good field position after this simulated 35-yard punt that we're assuming they're going to take here.
It's 4th down and about 25 yards to go. See exactly how they're going to play this out.
And it looks like they're going to go for it. Notice another kick again.
Just do that as a quick kick. Ball will roll out to just outside the 45-yard line.
Regardless, Weaver's going to have outstanding field position. Still 34 seconds, and they'll start inside Ohatchee territory at the 46.
They're going to put the ball at the 40-yard line for that 35-yard simulated punt. So first down for Weaver. Again, 34 seconds to go in the first half. Coming up at halftime, you will see performances by the Ohatchee Band and by the Weaver Band. It will be taped performances from their Calhoun County Band Expo performances back in the fall. Low snap for Hamby. Toss to the outside. Shamar Spinks can take it down to the 34-yard line.
Spinks not only with a lot of speed, but some nice moves that time. Made the defenders go all the way basically to the sideline, then cut it back inside, able to get 3 or 4 more yards. And that's been a big key to Weaver's success here in the first half, is the amount of positive yards they're getting on first down. Another 6-yard pickup on first down.
The clock is winding down. They're probably not going to make the snap, and they're not. That will take us to halftime here in the 2017 Calhoun County Spring Jam game number 1. (21-7) is the score, and let's go down to Gerhard, and he is with Coach Darrell Hamby.
All right, first off, Coach, 21-7 here to begin off with. Start off hot. Talk about just the way that you guys started and the kind of motivation.
We lost so many players last year, and so did they, so we're just feeling it out right now. We've seen a lot of good things, seen a lot of bad things. We just got a lot of work to do, not only in the next quarter coming up, but the whole summer.
Spring games are always different about the way to treat second half, so what's your plan going for these next 2 quarters?
Just keep playing the way we are, just keep fighting through the pain. A lot of these guys really aren't in the shape they should be, but that comes with spring football. But just keep fighting and just keep playing hard.
All right, let's get back to your team, Coach. All right, Darrell Hamby, coach of the Weaver Bearcats. Guys.
All right, thank you very much. Gerhard Mathangani on the sidelines, and we'll have a break and be back in a moment. The Calhoun County School System salutes our 2016-2017 Employees of the Month. Betty Nunnally of Weaver High School. Tamia Harrelson of Pleasant Valley Elementary School. Jackie Kelly of Welborn High School. Brandy Carpenter, Application Support Specialist. Christy Shue of Pleasant Valley High School. Kendall Poe of Ohatchee High School. Erica Thomas of Ohatchee High School. Sharon Calloway of Weaver Elementary School. And Michelle Hathaway of Sachs Elementary School.
Join us May 19th and 20th for the Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. Come experience Alabama's largest in-water boat show. Test drive pontoons from Bennington, Sun Tracker, Silver Wave, South Bay Regency, and Avalon. Fishing boats from Tracker, Nitro, Express, and Challenger. And personal watercraft from Sea-Doo. Weekend events include fireworks, live music, vendors, and giveaways, including a brand new lake-ready Sun Tracker pontoon boat. May 19th and 20th in Pell City. We'll see you on the lake.
Welcome back in. It's halftime of game number 1 of the Calhoun County Spring Jam. This is what we're doing for halftime. We're going to feature the bands. We're going to be featuring their recorded performances from the Calhoun County Band Expo back in the fall. And we're going to kick off this halftime with the Weaver Band, Weaver Marching Bearcats.
Now taking the field, the Weaver High School Marching Band. Weaver's show is titled Uprising and features the following musical selections: The Phoenix, Uprising, and Viva la Vida. Drum major Yari Millard, is your band ready? Ladies and gentlemen, the Weaver High School Marching Band.
watching the performance of the Weaver High School Band from back in the Calhoun County Band Expo. And we're going to move right along and let you see Ohatchee from that same night. Here's the Ohatchee Band.
Please welcome the Ohatchee High School Marching Indians. The Ohatchee High School Marching Band is under the direction of Chris Benedetti, and additional staff includes percussion instructor Ashley Peterson and guard instructor April Doris. Tonight's show is titled Your Time Is Now. Drum Major Madison Hanks, is your band ready? Marching Indians, you may now take the field in exhibition.
Ohatchee Indian Band. They are wrapping up halftime of game number 1 in the Calhoun County Spring Jamboree. Weaver leading this game 21-7 over the Ohatchee Indians. We'll take a break and come back with second half action in just a moment.
Huge hailstorm equals huge savings at Buster Moss Ford in Heflin. Come experience a stress-free buying process during our hail sale and save thousands. Over 300 vehicles must go. The damage so small on some and saving so big on others. We have brought the professionals in to fix the cars right. Work has begun for our loss and your gain. Come take advantage of these savings, hopefully never to be seen again. Buster Miles Ford in Heflin off I-20 exit 199. The difference worth driving since 1947.
We were looking to sell our starter home and move into our dream home. After looking at all the options, we chose to work with ERA King. ERA means easy, responsive, and attention to detail. ERA King made the entire process of buying and selling a house easy. From helping us decide on a listing price to navigating the final closing, our agent worked with us every step of the way. ERA King. To us, it means always doing the right thing for every client. What will ERA mean to you? Find out at eraking.com.
I got back my Smack Talk touchdown hole-in-one three-point home run, hat-trick pavement pounding record-setting goal across the finish line. Because Core didn't give up, I didn't give up. And I certainly didn't give in. I'm gonna get back to doing what I love. I'm gonna get back to winning.
As we get ready for the second half of the Spring Jam here at Jacksonville State University, let's go down to the field. Gerhardt has Ohatchee coach Scott Martin.
Hi, Coach. I know we're coming up pretty short here on the second half. Talk about what you saw there in the first half.
Well, I mean, I saw a young football team. I saw some guys that, grade-wise, they might be 11th or 12th graders, but have never been on the field a lot in a varsity experience. And, you know, we had a couple of crucial times that we didn't convert, and they made some really good plays, and we missed some tackles. And, you know, it's all about fundamentals in the spring. And, you know, we got to see some guys step it up and look for a better third quarter, and then we'll get to play the young guys in the fourth quarter and get ready for the offseason.
Absolutely, Coach. I appreciate it.
No problem.
All right, guys, back to you.
Thank you very much. Gerhardt Mathagani down on the field with head coach Scott Martin and Carl Brady along with you. John Holder in the booth as well. And, John, it's interesting. We've been bragging on these teams, how good they look, and the coaches are down there saying they're young, they're making mistakes. Oh, you know, poor, pitiful us.
Yeah, that's typical coach speak there, because I'll guarantee you inside they're a little bit sly on the inside. I think they know they've got some pretty good football teams coming up. Seeing there, the Alexandria Valley Cubs. They're coming up at 7 o'clock tonight. As we mentioned, that kind of a rare matchup that we don't ever see anymore between Alexandria and Walter Welborn. Alexandria's in the stands, and Walter Welborn just entered the stadium behind their head coach, Jeff Smith, going into the home dressing room here where Jack State dresses. That's where Welborn will be dressing. Alexandria will be dressing in the visitors' dressing room here at JSU Stadium. We're ready, I guess, for the kickoff of quarter number 2, as you mentioned, Carl. Probably see the starters for one quarter, and then we'll go to the younger players, not necessarily junior high players, but younger players for the fourth quarter.
That is the plan, is my understanding, as we get ready for the kickoff of the second half here of the 2017 Calhoun County Spring Jam, game number 1 between Weaver and Ohatchee. This will not be a full live. If you're joining us late, it will not be a full live kicking game. Benavides will kick off, but there will not be a return. They'll bring the ball to the 35-yard line, and Ohatchee will be on offense to start the game, to start the second half from the 35-yard line. Weaver so far 21-7 lead in the first half of action here at this game. Tomorrow night's game will feature White Plains. Two games feature White Plains and Pleasant Valley at the 4:30 kickoff, and the second game will be Saxon Russellville. Game time set at 7 o'clock for these second games, but depending on the timing of the first game, it may not exactly be at 7 o'clock. It'll be 10 minutes after the end of the first game. Ohatchee back on offense now. Allward still at the quarterback spot, the handoff. He'll gain up to about the 40-yard line, and again, that is Jesse Sellers, who we've been seeing all day in that running back position.
Very good push that time by the Ohatchee offensive line. You kind of saw Sellers just get in there and kind of tiptoe behind the line, and really he was about 4 yards up the field before he even got touched. So good push on this opening play of the second half by Ohatchee.
Low snap, another handoff to Sellers. He'll push ahead for about 3 yards. 2.5 to 3 yards on the gain. He'll get close to the 43-yard line for third down.
Going back to what you mentioned, Carl, about both Daryl Hamby and Scott Martin talking about some of the negatives. Yeah, we're young. Yeah, we got a lot of improvement to do. I'll guarantee they're going to take away a lot of positives after this game as well, because there have been a lot of positives, maybe some pleasant surprises for both of these teams.
Inside handoff here for the Indians. Kevin Williamson on the carry, number 18.
Ohatchee back to doing what they do best here. Kind of like the opening series of the game when they drove down the field and got a touchdown on their first possession. Kind of has that same look to it as they are just straight up and down north-south football, run it down your throat. That has been Ohatchee football for the last couple of seasons, and that's what we're seeing here in this third quarter.
First down at the 48. Again, a handoff by Allward. And Sellers has plenty of room right up the middle. They'll mark him down at the 28-yard line. Long run for Sellers, and a first down for the Indians.
Sellers is the kind of guy that's kind of been paying his dues. Had some big plays, as we mentioned last year, but clearly behind Eubanks and Tucker and those guys, he was kind of the number 3 guy. But now it's kind of his time to shine. This is where he's going to be the go-to player, so to speak. And really the time for Jesse Sellers to kind of step into the spotlight as we'll have a very early timeout called by the Weaver defense here, less than 2 minutes into this third quarter.
First down at the 28-yard line for Ohatchee. And even though you're playing behind some of those great players for a couple of years, I think it makes you a better player when you do get a chance to play, because you're trying to keep up with them and learning from them at the same time.
And even though Sellers was not necessarily the starter, he got a lot of playing time last year, because one of the things that happened, and this is what happens when you build a good program, one of the things we saw last year, Ohatchee had so many blowout games, so many big wins, that a lot of these young guys Coach Martin was talking about, these are guys that got some significant playing time last year in a lot of those blowout wins. And so even though they may not have a lot of returning starters, so to speak, coming back, as far as playing time goes, they've got a lot of guys that have seen some playing time because of the success they had last year and so many big victories.
Coming back after the timeout. First down for Ohatchee. Again, they're at the Weaver 28-yard line. So take a look there at Grayson Allward, the junior quarterback. He'll be an upcoming junior. Handoff again to Sellers. Sellers tries the right side. He'll get into about the 25-yard line. They'll mark him at the 26. So about a 2-yard gain on the play.
First half, we took a look at the Weaver schedule for this year. And coming up later on at some point here in the second half, we have a moment, a few extra minutes here, we'll take a look at the Ohatchee schedule for 2017.
Second down and 8 for the Indians. Allward's going to keep this one himself. He has a little bit of a gap there. He was trying to shoot that gap, but it closed up on him pretty quickly. And he's going to gain about 4 yards on that play.
Big down here, maybe the biggest play of this game so far for Ohatchee coming up. They're down 21-7, got a good drive going. Third down and about 5.5, almost 6 to go. Really need a first down, and really more importantly than that, need a score here. So this is, I think, the biggest play of the game that Ohatchee's had.
Allward takes the snap, fumbles the snap. He's got to pick it up and try to run it straight ahead. And again, a little bit of a gap there closed off on him, and it's going to be fourth down for the Indians from the 23-yard line. It'll be about 4th and 5 to go.
And Allward comes up limping. They're going to have to call a timeout. Now he goes down and takes a knee. That is not a good sign if you're an Ohatchee fan.
He was limping after the previous play, and this time he's just going to have to call it quits for a minute.
All the players will take a knee there, and he immediately came up, was limping hard, trying to get off to the sidelines, and then finally went all the way down, and it's like he is in a lot of pain over there. Probably would have had the first down if he had not dropped the football, because he had a big push again from that offensive line up front, and but with the drop, that allowed the Weaver defense time to react and get in there and make the tackle after only about a yard gain. So looking at about 4th and 5 coming up, and Ohatchee will be without their starting QB. So an interesting call coming up here from Coach Scott Martin after he takes care of his player here, who I think has been very impressive, Grayson Allward, the junior to be quarterback.
It's going to take a little time here and working. Looks like they're working with his knee. I thought maybe it was an ankle, but it looks like they're kind of concentrating on that knee a little bit.
So the officials are sending both players over to the respective sidelines. It does look. And we're going to take a look now at that Ohatchee schedule as promised. We got Raglan coming up. That's the Down War, the Neely Henry Down War, and then they've got White Plains, and then, you know, really, to be honest with you, Class 3A Region 5, toughest region in the state of Alabama. No doubt about it. Last year, once they got past the first 2 rounds of the playoffs, you had basically the 4 teams left in North Alabama were 3A Region 5 teams. Ohatchee was one of those. Weaver was one of those. Randolph County, who they'll have on September the 8th there. The rematch with Weaver coming up on September 22nd. We mentioned a big game at Welborn, always a hard-fought contest. 2-time defending state champion Piedmont on the road. They played each other twice last year in the state semifinals and the regular season matchups before huge crowds both times. Glencoe, and then a non-region game at home with the Pisgah Eagles to close out the regular season on November the 3rd.
We're going to look at the play that Allward, he was already limping, but this was that last play that he goes down right there. And that was just all he could handle for that.
Got twisted up in that pile, and now we're going to see Sellers at quarterback. As we come back to live play, we see the trainers helping Allward to the bench there. And, hey, I tell you, I really like Scott Martin's decision there. You go with maybe your best player, Jesse Sellers, and put him in at quarterback. But they do not get the first down, and Weaver able to hold.
So Weaver will take over on downs at their own 24-yard line, 1st and 10 for the Weaver Bearcats. As you see, number 7, Dominique Thomas there, the upcoming junior running back, had that carry. And see the trainers working on Allward there on the bench.
Dr. Ray and Randy Beeson over there from Core Sports taking good care of him.
Weaver with the toss. Lots of running room there for Shamar Spinks. Spinks will make it to the 39-yard line, picking up a first down plus some more.
Again, that simple toss sweep, a little bit late on the pitch, but Spinks does a good job of just shedding the tackle or throwing the defender to the ground and then picking his way through the defense. Great vision from Shamar Spinks. Does a really good job of finding the holes, following his blockers, kind of setting up his blocks there. That could have been a loss in the backfield, but because of his good vision, able to turn that into a first down run.
First down now for the Bearcats, their own 39-yard line. Hamby with the give. Spinks nowhere to go. He'll get back to the 39-yard line, and that's it. As the Ohatchee Indians get inside that time, Aiden Simpson, upcoming freshman there, getting credit on that tackle.
Mr. Simpson, that means he is still in the 8th grade, an upcoming 9th grade. As we mentioned, a very young Ohatchee team, as you might expect with some of the key losses they had last year. Only 8 upcoming seniors on the team. But that is really good news for down the road, because a lot of these guys that we're seeing making contributions are guys that will be around for 2 or 3 seasons.
Just a week away from graduation for most of the current seniors, so another week left in school. Hamby tries to take it around to the far end. He's not going to get much Out of that, he'll gain a yard to the 40.
Ohatchee did a really good job, particularly Riker Lambright that time, of defending that play. That was the same kind of play we've seen a couple of times before, where Hamby was coming up with kind of that run-pass option, trying to draw the defender in, and really played perfectly by Lambright as he was able to make Hamby make the decision, and then made a good open field tackle, drove him out of bounds, and just a really good defensive play overall by Riker Lambright of Ohatchee.
3rd and 9 for the Bearcats. And we are going to have a timeout called by Weaver again. We'll take the break. Be back in a moment.
Hi, my name is Reverend Jeffrey C. Williams, the owner and licensed funeral director of Anderson Funeral Services. At Anderson Funeral Services, we are compassionate and caring individuals committed to providing quality and professional service at affordable prices. We are where service begins and never ends, and love is what love does.
Aniston Funeral Services offers affordable services to meet any need for all families. Aniston Funeral Services, 630 South Wilmer Avenue, where service begins and never ends.
At Family Health and Wellness Center in Oxford, we believe in treating every patient like members of our own family. That's what we do every day. Dr. Edmond, a board-certified primary care physician, and his staff are here for you through each step of your wellness journey. Dr. Edmond also routinely visits his patients who have been hospitalized and makes follow-up calls to ensure they are on the road to recovery. Check us out online, call us, or come by our office. One visit and you'll know you're a member of our family.
We come back to action here, the spring jam. Hamby going deep on 3rd down. We're going to have a flag come flying in. The pass is complete down to the 26-yard line. But we'll see what the penalty is going to be.
It's going to be a pass interference.
Some kind of pass interference.
The question is going to be offensive or defensive. Some of the Ohatchee coaches were saying there might have been a push-off over there. But I don't know that they're going to get that. They're going to get a defensive pass interference. Obviously, that will be declined, and a nice looking pass again from Dalton Hamby. Look at Hamby put that up. You see him grab the jersey. That was pretty obvious there. Pretty obvious pass interference, and again a nice catch though by Drake Monroe. Great concentration to pull that down.
And you see Allward in the background of that shot over there, still on the training table, but has ice on his ankle. So it apparently is an ankle problem on Allward there.
I think it's safe to say here in the spring we have seen, and looking at that situation over there, Allward has seen his final play of the day. Dr. Clinton Ray and also Randy Beeson over there from Core Sports been constantly checking him out and taking good care of him on the Ohatchee sideline.
Hamby under center for Weaver. Handoff. He'll be taken down from behind. Spinks on the carry again.
Weaver trying to cash this in and deliver what could be a knockout punch here. Clock ticking towards 7 minutes to go in the third as we see the fine young quarterback who's had a really good day by my estimation, Grayson Allward of Ohatchee. You see that ice pack that they've got on his, looks like it's on his ankle, and that's where they've been giving the attention is to the ankle. Hopefully not a serious injury. And the good part about it, it is May the 18th, Carl. So they have a full summer to go before they can have to worry about needing his presence. So obviously that may just hopefully be a minor injury, and he'll be up and at him and able to go through the summer workouts pretty soon.
I mean, this time Weaver calling another timeout. The coaches are not happy with something they're seeing on their offense there.
We talked about last year as we look at the Ohatchee band over there. We talked about last year how dominant 3A Region 5 was in 3A football in the state of Alabama. We mentioned went through 2 rounds of playoffs, and in North Alabama there were 4 teams left to go to the quarterfinals. All 4 of those teams were out of Class 3A Region 5. Piedmont, Ohatchee, Randolph County, and Weaver. So they're playing each other. Of course, the semifinals was a rematch between Piedmont and Ohatchee on Thanksgiving weekend up at the Field of Champions in Piedmont, which was a phenomenal crowd up there, one of the most exciting atmospheres we've seen in many, many years in Calhoun County. And then, of course, Piedmont went on and won their second consecutive Class 3A state championship. And I'll tell you, from what I'm seeing here from Weaver, knowing what Weaver has, what we're seeing from Ohatchee, Wellborn's going to be much improved. Glencoe and Pleasant Valley much improved. Randolph County's got just about everybody coming back. And Piedmont's going to be loaded again. Carl, I think that region we might see that happen again, where obviously I think that's the best region in Class 3A football in this state, is the region right here involving our Calhoun County teams, 3A Region 5.
Coming back to action after the Weaver timeout. Hamby keeping it for himself, rolling to the far side. He'll get to the 20-yard line. About a 3-yard gain on that play.
And that's what makes Dalton Hamby so dangerous to me, is he is truly a dual-threat quarterback. We don't see him have to run the ball very much, but he is capable at any time of pulling it down and running. At that time, that was a designed run where he just took the snap and then headed to the boundary and was able to pick up a couple of positive yards. Now it's a makeable third down at about 3.5.
Third down for the Bearcats. 6 minutes to go in the third quarter action here. Game number 1 of 4 games of the Calhoun County Spring Jam. Hamby looking to throw, going downfield inside the 5-yard line. The pass is complete to London Knight.
And we have seen a couple of nice catches by London Knight. This may have been his most impressive catch of the evening. And another very accurate pass from Hamby. Hamby rolling out right on the money between 2 defenders. And give all the credit to Knight, because he went up and he took a tremendous lick from Kevin Williamson. Watch this hit by Williamson coming in right to the side, knocking him down. But good concentration by Knight. 1st and goal now for the Bearcats.
Just inside the 5-yard line for Weaver. Knight lines up and was wide receiver. Hamby with the handoff. Now he's nursing an injured ankle, it looks like. And Isaiah Woods picks up the touchdown.
First time we've called Isaiah Woods' name. He's just an upcoming 10th grader. And he blasted into the end zone. Kind of a little bit of nobody really knew where the ball was. They handed it off. He had a spin move at the line, ran over a couple of Ohatchee defenders. First time we've called Woods' name, and he barrels into the end zone. And this impressive offensive performance by Weaver continues, their 4th touchdown of the evening.
As the Bearcats line up for the point after attempt, number 75, Riley Benavides. And puts it right through the uprights, and it's good. So Weaver will take the lead. It'll be 28-7, the Bearcats leading the Indians of Ohatchee. We'll be back.
Don't just dream it. Call Family Savings Credit Union. Right now, get something you want for as low as 2.24% APR. You can even apply online or by phone. Family Savings Credit Union, where your money grows with you and your family.
There's a killer on the loose in Alabama. This won't help you. This won't help you either. Even this won't help you. But this will. Breast cancer affects 1 in 8 women, and the only thing that can catch this killer is early detection with an annual high-quality mammogram. Advanced Imaging in Oxford and Gadsden was the first facility in Alabama to offer 3D digital mammography. Find out more online at alliesinthefight.com. Advanced Imaging, better technology for better health care.
28-7 is your score. Third quarter action here in the Calhoun County Spring Jam. This is the first game of 4 games over 2 days of Spring Jam action. And again, no fully live kickoff here. So we'll bring the ball to the 35-yard line, and Ohatchee will go on offense.
Ohatchee will be the rest of their way without, for this last 5-15, obviously going to go to younger players anyway in the 4th quarter. But it looks like they're going to move Jesse Sellers, just slide him over from the running back position, and they'll put him in the shotgun at quarterback. And you mentioned that Dalton Hamby was limping a little bit, and they were looking at him pretty closely during the break there. And I would expect, if the varsity gets the ball back in the next 5-15, we might have seen the last of Mr. Hamby as well.
Sellers hands off to Thomas, but flags are coming out just as the ball is snapped.
And that's going to be a false start. Dead ball foul, false start. And, you know, that's the thing, Carl, I think that most folks don't realize is when you miss the quarterback, you're talking about his playmaking ability and his talent and all of that and knowing the plays and being the field general. But one of the small things that people usually miss is just the cadence. Just the linemen are used to a quarterback snapping the ball, the certain cadence, the timing, the rhythm. I think that's what you saw last time. They're just not used to having a different guy back there at quarterback.
This time another handoff to Dominic Thomas. And Thomas will make it all the way out to near the 44-yard line. He'll be shy of the first down, but a good job of making up a lot of distance there for Ohatchee.
Well, Dominic Thomas has been very impressive. I have not seen him carry the ball, but just a handful of times. But every time we've seen him carry the football, he has been most impressive. Haven't seen him outside yet. He's been right in the heart of the defense, and here he comes again.
Play will gain to about the 48-yard line. That's enough for a first down. And we've been seeing on that last series and this series as well. I'm seeing the Ohatchee offensive line making a hole, but they're not holding it very long. They're making that hole, and if whoever's got the ball can get to the hole fast enough, then they can get through it. And here's Thomas again, breaking some defenders and going all the way down to the 28-yard line for another first down for the Indians.
He is listed as a rising 10th grader. That means he's still in the 9th grade right now, and this guy is a bull. Watch this guy right here. Just watch this run. Look at the stiff arm, dragging two players with him. Very physical football player. Guy's not played a whole lot before, and he has been dealing some misery the few times he's run the football to this Weaver defense, but apparently we're going to have another penalty in the game, and that run is going to come back as we'll have another. It's like a block in the back.
Block in the back. We'll bring the ball back to the 50-yard line.
A net gain of about 2 yards after all that.
So first down and about 8 to go for Ohatchee. Sellers still at quarterback. Hands it off to Thomas. Right up the right side of the line, hits that hole and gets down to the 45-yard line.
Tell you what, as a defender, when that hole opens up and big number 7 comes barreling at you, that is something that you don't want to see all night long, play after play after play. That is a physical football player, especially to be a rising 10th grader for Ohatchee. Number 7, Dominic Thomas.
Second down and 3 for Ohatchee. High snap, giving it to Thomas again, let him just power right through the line. His momentum will take him to about the 41-yard line. Should be a first down.
Will be a first down at the 41. And I get the impression, Carl, that this Mr. Thomas here, I think he likes sticking it up in there. It looks like he's looking for the contact. He's a Walter Payton guy that's like, I'm not here just to be the target. I'm here to dish it out a little bit.
3.5 minutes to go in third quarter action. Live on TV 24 and streaming online at TV24.tv. The Spring Jam from Calhoun County. Sellers is going to keep it this time. He'll get to the 36-yard line. 5-yard gain on the play.
And that's just another wrinkle for teams that have to play Ohatchee this fall. If they choose to, they're showing now that they, not because they have to, but if they want to, they can put Jesse Sellers back at that quarterback position, almost like a wildcat formation. It's not really what it is, but that's in essence what the role he's playing here. And that's a pretty dangerous weapon and gives opponents of Ohatchee something else to prepare for and think about.
Sellers takes it right up the middle. He'll get to the 20-yard, at the 34-yard line, gain a couple of more yards on the play.
Got an official timeout. Now it looks like Sellers. It looks like he may have a cramp, though. They're looking at his ankle. Randy Beeson's coming out from Core Sports, but they've got him up. And
have a Weaver player down as well.
I don't know about the Weaver player, but I know Jesse Sellers, he's jogging off, and it looked like that was a classic cramp because it is humid out here, and it is probably one of the most humid days we've had so far in 2017. And the Ohatchee player, I should say the Weaver player, is up as well, and that looks like
Isaiah Woods.
Isaiah Woods. We saw him score the last touchdown coming off. So both those guys look like they'll be okay.
So you take a look at Sellers there. That will bring out Cam Foshee, an upcoming sophomore in the quarterback position. He'll hand off to Thomas. Thomas finds a hole and jumps over a couple of guys. He'll get inside the 30-yard line and pick up a first down.
Ohatchee working on their third quarterback of this third quarter. But I have a feeling that we're seeing more, at least for this last 2 minutes of this third quarter before we get to the JVs. I think we're going to see a lot more of number 7, Dominic Thomas.
Sellers back in at quarterback. First down just inside the 30-yard line. Sellers going to keep it himself. Dodges some defenders, breaks through the line, and touchdown for Ohatchee.
Sellers goes to the sideline for a couple of plays with that cramp, but he came back, and look at this run by Jesse Sellers. Fakes the handoff, runs over a Weaver player, runs through 2 more arm tackles. Another player fell at his ankle, and then he ran the final 15 yards into the end zone. And we saw a lot of plays like that last year from Jesse Sellers from the tailback position. And that's going to be a big weapon for the Ohatchee Indians in 2017.
And the point after for Ohatchee is good. Kicker number 75, Gage Harrell. 28-14 is the score. 1:45 remaining in the third. We'll be back.
Sure, it seems like there are tons of decisions to be made as you start down your college path. The good news is Gadsden State can help. Online, on the phone, or in person at the new One Stop Center in Gadsden. How much can I save? What career is perfect for me? Help with everything from admissions to financial aid. And when all the answers point towards saving money close to home, you'll see why so many decide to make their first stop, Gadsden State.
Regional Medical Center Anniston was Alabama's first baby-friendly hospital. We're proud of that distinction because it means everything we do promotes healthy, happy babies. We encourage rooming in, skin-to-skin contact after delivery, and exclusive breastfeeding. All the things that bring moms and babies closer. From the first ultrasound to the first birthday, RMC is dedicated to giving growing families a healthy, loving start. Visit rmcisforme.org.
As we come back to third quarter action here, the 2017 Calhoun County Spring Jam. This is game number 1 of 4 games over 2 nights. And then Saturday we'll return with the third and final day of the TV24 Gridiron Challenge. John, over 5 days, 2 weekends, 38 football teams from 3 states have played live spring football games on this field in front of our cameras live on TV24.
Absolutely. 22 games, and all 7 classifications, the Alabama High School Athletic Association. We had 1As, 2As, 3As, 4As, 5As, 6As, 7As, Georgia, Tennessee, of course Alabama, all over Alabama, Huntsville, Birmingham, Montgomery, Mobile County.
Little trouble with the snap there, and Hamby is going to be dragged down from behind. He will gain just less than a yard to bring up second down.
Again, Riker Lambright with another fine tackle. That's another guy that on defense looks like he might be a rising star out on the creek bank. Is number 9, Riker Lambright. 2 consecutive fantastic open field tackles by number 9. And he is another one of those young guys, just an upcoming, he's still technically in the 9th grade, an upcoming sophomore for Coach Scott Martin and the Indians.
Second down for the Bearcats. 1 minute to go in third quarter action. Hamby with the toss. Spinks on the carry. Spinks will twist and turn his way out to the 47-yard line, almost to the 48-yard line. That's enough for a first down.
Boy, Spinks gets to the corner as quick as anybody you'll find in 3A football. Spinks, that time he takes the sweep, he's got 3 or 4 yards. Here's the tall sweep again. Hamby just getting it out there to him, and he's on the corner quickly, already turning up the field. And then look at this, 5, 6 white jerseys just pushing him forward. Winds up gaining about 12 yards on the play.
First down for the Bearcats. Hamby, shotgun formation. Hand off to Spinks again. Spinks stays on his feet. He'll get across midfield down to the 47-yard line of the Indians.
Likely to be the last play of the third quarter, and that will be the last play of the varsity. We won't see any starters once we get into quarter number 4, which is coming up here in just a few seconds. And the teams are going to make their way to the sidelines and let the last few seconds tick off.
And that will be the format pretty much for all of the games for Spring Jam. We'll have 3 quarters of varsity action, and then a 4th quarter. They'll bring out the younger guys, and we'll get to see them play. They'll get a chance to play in front of the cameras when we come back.
Join us May 19th and 20th for the Logan Martin Lake Fest and Boat Show, presented by America's First Federal Credit Union. Come experience Alabama's largest in-water boat show. Test drive pontoons from Bennington, Sun Tracker, Silver Wave, South Bay Regency, and Avalon. Fishing boats from Tracker, Nitro, Express, and Challenger. And personal watercraft from Sea-Doo. Weekend events include fireworks, live music, vendors, and giveaways, including a brand new lake-ready Sun Tracker pontoon boat. May 19th and 20th in Pell City. We'll see you on the lake.
For great food and great service and a great atmosphere, come and see us at Top of the River in Anniston. At Top of the River, all of our products are prepared fresh daily with our own special recipes, including our farm-raised, grain-fed catfish. Large groups and private groups from 50 to 250 are welcome, and reservations are accepted 7 days a week. And ask about our full on-site catering. Family owned and operated since 1982 and always kid-friendly. Top of the River in Anniston.
Getting ready for 4th quarter action at the Spring Jam, the Calhoun County Spring Jam, the 6th annual Calhoun County Spring Jam, bringing together all of the high school football teams in Calhoun County, or 7 of the high school football teams in Calhoun County, and 1 from outside the county. They always invite somebody special. That'll be Russellville this year. They'll be playing Sachs in tomorrow night's nightcap game.
Now we're going to see JV players, and Carl, I believe, and Gerhard Mathangani is down the sideline, and Gerhard Mike can give us some clarification on this, but I think this may actually also be a running clock here in the 4th quarter. We will see. We'll check in with Gerhard in just a moment.
Fumble on the play by the Bearcats on their very first possession, and we will have the fumble recovered by Ohatchee. And the recovery is number 54, Cade Williamson. Let's go down to the field to Gerhard Mathangani.
All right, guys, they have discussed this, and what they determined was it's going to be all B team from here on out. So no starters. This will be all B team, and we won't have a running clock. It should be as normal. And I guess maybe if there is 1 or 2 more touchdowns, they might go to running clock. They'll come to an agreement about that, but it is a gentleman's agreement, all B team from here on out.
All right, thank you very much, Gerhard. First down for Ohatchee.
I knew Gerhard had been talking with the officials between the 3rd and 4th quarter out on the field, and I knew he knew what was going on. So as far as the timing goes, sounds like it's kind of play it by ear.
Play it by ear,
coaches
absolutely.
want to do. Yeah.
Foshee back in at quarterback with a handoff to Noah Fuller this time. Fuller is going to make it to the 41-yard line.
And for a lot of these, the coaches here this 4th quarter with these B-team guys, they're looking to see how does a player react in a game situation, especially in a situation like this. Television, big stadium, big stage. You know, who are my game day players here?
Again, Foshee with a handoff to Fuller. Fuller is going to gain a couple just inside the 40-yard line. Fuller is an 8th grader currently, will be a 9th grader coming up in the season. And he's hitting that hard line, that line hard, as you see the Alexandria Valley Cubs waiting their turn. They've got the next game. They will start 10 minutes following the end of this game.
Alexandria and Walter Welburn, Mickey Shadricks and Butch Barker will be along to bring you all the action of that, what should be a great game between the Valley Cubs and Panthers.
This time the handoff goes to Bailey Graham, number 10. No gain on the play there. That'll bring up 4th down for Ohatchee.
They could do a simulated punt here, but with just 6 yards to go and at the Weaver 40-yard line, looks like Scott Martin's going to go for it.
Oshie again with the handoff to Fuller, and looks like he's going to pick up that 1st down. They'll mark him down at the 32-yard line. So a good call there and good run by number 3, Noah Fuller.
Fuller's a good-looking athlete as well. Fine-looking football player there. Again, a guy that is an upcoming 9th grader. This is a young Ohatchee team. The folks out on the Creek Bank expected that, but I would say that not only is this a young team, but it's a talented team. We've seen some really good football players for Ohatchee. Same way for Weaver. I know Coach Hamby told Gerhardt at halftime they lost a lot of players, but they've got a lot of talented players coming back.
1st down for the Indians again. Foshee to Fuller, and Fuller picks up a 1st down at the 21-yard line.
And even though this is JV, they'll keep the same score. A lot of times you'll see in situations like that where the 28-14 would be the final and they would reset the score, but that is not going to be the case. They'll keep the score the same at 28-14. Playing like that, it can be a little deceptive.
Right. If you look at the final score.
Exactly right.
As a gauge. Fuller again on the carry, bouncing off the Weaver defenders. Keeping those legs moving, he'll get into the 17-yard line.
Next game coming up with Alexandria and Welborn. You want to talk about 2 head coaches that grew up their entire lives on Calhoun County football? Frank Tucker and Jeff Smith. I mean, it has been from birth. It has been Calhoun County football that these guys are appropriate to be head coaches here in the Calhoun County Spring Jam, because those guys, I'm telling you, Jeff Smith is all Welborn and Frank Tucker is all Alexandria. And no doubt about that. And we're going to see that played out with those teams coming up next.
Fuller again on the carry to bring up 3rd down inside the 15-yard line now. About 3 yards to go for Ohatchee. This time Foshee's going to keep it himself. He'll almost make it to the 10-yard line, and he may have enough for a 1st down. If they mark it right there, he will have enough for that 1st down. Yeah, they're going to move the sticks. So it'll be a 1st down for the Indians.
The way they've got it marked, it's not 1st and goal. They can actually get another 1st down, but they'd have to be at probably the 1-foot line, maybe even closer than that to get the 1st down, but it is possible. I'm really impressed with these B-team players with only 9 days of practice.
Good vision there by Fuller, coming to the right side, finding that hole and making his cutback to hit the hole and gaining a few more yards for the Indians.
Because you got to figure if you had limited reps in 9 days for your varsity guys, you know, how many reps in a scrimmage situation? I mean, there's really been no, I'm assuming there's been no scrimmaging going on in 9 days of practice. So how much, you know, actually out there running plays have the B team had, and they're looking pretty good here.
Looking pretty good. That Foshee to Fuller handoff working well into the 4-yard line. 3rd, not goal. They have to get to about a foot to go to get the 1st down.
The way Ohatchee's been, 3 yards, they might get a 1st down here. We'll see.
Foshee in the shotgun formation. Takes the snap, fakes the handoff, going to take it himself. He'll go down to about the 2-yard line.
It's going to be close. It is going to be close.
He landed on the defender and rolled, so they give him the roll, and he will be close to the 1-yard line. So
4th down, not goal. But I'm telling you, Carl, it looks like he's going to have to get right to about the 6-inch line to get the 1st down.
And Fuller going to be caught behind the line of scrimmage this time. A loss on the play. Fuller slow to get up after taking a pretty hard hit there back at the 4-yard line.
It's like that was Tristan White that came in. What an outstanding player by that young man. And that is, in essence, a goal line stand by the Weaver B team. I know technically it was not because it was 1st and 10, but they had to get really down to the goal line to get a first, and they held them 4 shots inside the 10-yard line. Very good defensive stand. I know Coach Ham has got to be happy about that from his B team defense.
The Bearcats will take over on downs at the 4-yard line.
Let's see if the Weaver offense on the B team side of things is going to be as efficient as their Ohatchee counterparts were. Remember, they fumbled the first play of this 4th quarter B team play. So we'll see what they can do here. They've only had to play for really one offensive play.
Jaden Calhoun lining up at quarterback. Trouble on the snap in the end zone, but he gets it out. Running out to the 20, breaks a tackle. Finally goes down just shy of the 30-yard line. They'll mark him at the 29.
25-yard run, and I thought for a moment there he dropped the ball actually in the end zone. Thought he might even be tackled for a safety at one point. And then he just takes off and shows his speed and moves and winds up gaining about 25 yards all the way out to the 29.
We have a flag on that play, so we're not moving the sticks just yet till we figure out exactly what happens here.
It's going to come back. Looks like they may have called a hold on Weaver. So they thought that they were out of the box, so to speak, but instead they're going right back in. They wound up gaining a net of 6 yards on the play because the hold was down the field, but still backed up to the 10-yard line. It wipes out a 25-yard run, makes it only a 6-yard run.
So first down, about 4 yards to go for the Bearcats. Calhoun in the shotgun. He's looking to throw. Goes right across the middle. Pass is complete. Play will gain to the 22-yard line. And that receiver is number 14, Devontae Hilliard.
Very nice throw and catch. Great throw here from Jaden Calhoun. Look at that. A little bit behind him, but still a nice spiral. Good catch. And getting some yards after the catch right there. Good connection there from Jaden Calhoun to Devontae Hilliard.
Picks up a first down for the Bearcats near the 22-yard line. Calhoun with the toss this time. Flag coming in. It's like Drake Monroe.
Probably another hold coming against Weaver here.
That's the initial indication, is a hold against Weaver. He came from way down the field. We have another flag back in the backfield as well, so we may have 2 different infractions here.
Either way, it's going against Weaver. The Bearcats are backing up. And that is going to be a holding call once again. And Weaver continues to dig themselves an even deeper hole, now back at the 8-yard line.
But the penalties keep it at first down, so they've got several more opportunities. It's first down and about 22 yards to go.
Even in the younger classes, even down at the B team level, we're still seeing some outstanding talent from both of these teams.
Calhoun going across the middle again. Pass complete. Play will get across the 25-yard line. Again, the same receiver, number 14, Devontae Hilliard.
Look at Calhoun. Really impressed with this young man. Look at that. In the pocket, nice spiral tight throw into traffic, right on the money. Good looking quarterback prospect for Darrell Hamby coming along. Jaden Calhoun is just an upcoming freshman. Really nice looking prospect there at quarterback for Weaver.
Second down for the Bearcats. 2 wideouts to either side. Single running back behind Calhoun. Calhoun looks to throw again. Pass is complete to the 32-yard line. Number 25, Marcelo D'Ambrosia. is the receiver.
One thing that cannot be denied about Jaden Calhoun is his arm. He has got a live wire, no doubt about that. We've seen him make throws down the middle. That was a nice throw over here to the side, and he is throwing bullets out there this evening here at Burgess Snow Field.
Weaver on the move now. First down at the 31-yard line, inside 4 minutes to go in the game. Next up is Welborn and Alexandria, as we've talked about. That'll begin 10 minutes after this game. Calhoun looking to throw again, getting some pressure, spinning out of the pressure. He's going to have to keep it himself and scramble. Finds a little room on the right side. He'll go down to the 45-yard line. Mark him just shy of the 45, but again, enough to pick up a first down.
Calhoun has been sensational. Watch him spin away there from the Ohatchee defender, then switches and goes all the way across the field and able to pick up the first down. We knew what kind of a arm he had from some of the throws we've seen in this quarter, but his legs have been phenomenal as well. There's Jeff Smith. We mentioned Coach Smith a while ago, head coach of the Walter Welborn Panthers. His team getting some early warm-ups in, getting ready for our next game between Welborn and Alexandria.
First down for the Bearcats. Toss to Journey Stockdale. Stockdale still on his feet. Goes all the way to the 35-yard line.
There is no lack of talent on this Weaver team. Here's Stockdale. First time we had a chance to see him carry the football. Again, toss sweep. Evades a tackle there, runs through 2 tackles, 3, 4, 5 tackles. Took 6 white jerseys to get a hand on it and finally get him down after a nice gain all the way down to the Ohatchee 35.
It was Tristan Moore that finally wrapped him up and took him down there at the 35-yard line. So first down for Weaver. Calhoun chooses to keep it. He is going to be taken down at the 34-yard line. A lot of running around. Slight gain on the play, though. And he's going to be shaken up a little bit after being kind of body slammed a little bit there at the end of that play. The way he landed on his back, his head probably took a pretty good knock on the ground there. As we look at it again, he starts out to the right side. Looks like he's going to do the toss, decides to keep it, and then in the spinning around here, he just kind of got flopped down on the ground pretty hard.
Yeah, he did. He took a pretty tough lick. Being attended to, he's on about the 35-yard line on the Weaver sideline, inside the hash mark over there. May have had his breath knocked out of him. Looks like that may be what we're looking at here. And it may very well be the situation where he was just thrown down, landed on his chest, and had the breath knocked out of him. Hopefully that's all there is to it. And if that's the case, he'll be back up and at him here in just a couple of moments. We mentioned 3A Region 5 and how tough it was, and with Welborn coming back up, they're in that region as well. Missed the playoffs last year basically on a 2-point conversion in the game, their last region game at Randolph County. So they've got him up. We'll see one more look at it as he is thrown down and landed on his back there. So I think he probably just had the breath knocked out of him, and they'll take good care of him. Get him over to the sidelines. Sean Seeger over there. Dr. Clinton Ray coming over. Weaver coaching staff.
Second down and 9 for Weaver as we come back to play. About 2 minutes left to go. And this time we see Robert Gaines as in at quarterback. And already a flag being thrown. We're going to have a substitution problem with Ohatchee. One of their defensive guys didn't get off the field in time, or the wrong guy came off the field. Move the ball up 5 yards. Second down and still about 5 to go for Weaver. Again, as you look at Robert Gaines at quarterback. Gaines also looking to throw. having a hard time finding someone open, and he's going to be sacked in the backfield. 43-yard line is where they're going to mark him down.
Good resiliency by that Ohatchee defensive line to just keep working, keep the pressure on. Finally paid off with a sack. A number of players back there led by Nathan Tipton, officially credited with a sack as we roll under a minute and a half. But, you know, talking about Welborn, who's coming up next, you know, Randolph County in that last region game scored a 2-point conversion, and that one play is basically what separated Welborn from being in the playoff mix. And I firmly believe if Welborn had been in the playoffs last year, they would have been maybe in that quarterfinal round as well. So this is a good Welborn team coming back.
Third down for Weaver. Gaines with the toss.
Nice open field tackle by Noah Fuller that time. We saw Fuller being very impressive in carrying the football, and that time a nice open field tackle as he came up from his safety position and made the tackle. Actually, I think they've got him playing maybe an outside linebacker.
Probably going to be the final play of this game. Game number 1 of 4 games over 2 days. 2017 Calhoun County Spring Jam Spring Football event. Live on TV 24. Fumble on the snap. Gaines is able to pick it up, and he'll run out of bounds. With 8 seconds on the clock, he'll go out of bounds at the 39-yard line. That was a 4th down play. So the ball will turn over to Ohatchee. 7 seconds on the clock. So Ohatchee will have 1 snap to wrap up this game. And again, as we mentioned, looking at the final score on the scoreboard, the score in these spring games is not the measure of how your team does in these games. You're looking at, if you're a coach or you're a fan, you're looking at individual performances. You're looking at all the different nuances of your team to see how things are going to come together and what you need to work on over the next couple of months of summertime. And look at this, 7 seconds on the clock. The handoff to Fuller, and Fuller takes it 61 yards for an Ohatchee touchdown on the last play of the game.
As time expired, he was crossing the goal line, and that's going to make it a respectable 28-20. They will not attempt the extra point, but in the varsity portion of things, Weaver well in command, 28-7. But look at that run there, showing some of the great young talent coming up at Ohatchee with Noah Fuller.
I think Fuller is going to see some action on a Friday night this fall. And a strong player, even though he was playing with the younger guys in the 4th quarter tonight.
Gerhard Mathangani on the sidelines. He'll have some post-game reaction coming up. Don't forget Alexandria and Walter Welborn coming up. Another full game. Mickey Shadricks, Butch Barker will be along to bring you that game. That will be intriguing, to say the least, between the Valley Cubs and the Panthers.
As we were talking a little earlier about the these teams, you know, they're putting a lot of effort into a spring game now that they're used to this spring jamboree type format and playing on TV, and playing in front of everybody. So they're excited to play these games. Let's go down to the field. Gerhard is with Coach Scott Martin.
All right, Coach, talk to you at halftime. Talk about some of the things you saw there in the 3rd and 4th quarter and the entire game overall.
Well, I mean, I thought we played hard. I mean, you know, we made a lot of youth mistakes, and we've got to do a better job of that, you know, going into the summer. A lot of guys that don't have a lot of playing experience, but saw a lot of good things, flashes out of our young guys in the last quarter. Our older guys made a nice drive down there and didn't convert down there in the red zone, and we got to do a better job of that. But, you know, we're a little limited in what we can do right now going into the spring, but I thought some of them picked it up a little bit, so I'm encouraged about that. But, I mean, you know, Weaver's got a good football team, and of course, our region's tough, and it's going to be like that every week.
We spoke before the game. I think 87-something% of your scores last year were gone. What was the motivating factor last year? What are some of the things you could do over the next few months to get this team ready for the fall?
Well, I just don't think we play hard enough yet. So we've got to do a lot of things in the summer. I just think that our efforts got to be a little bit better, and we've got to play through the whistle. I didn't think we did a very good job of that.
All right, Coach. I'll let you get back to your team. You look good today, Coach. That's Coach Scott Martin of the Ohatchee Indians. We'll also catch up with Coach Daryl Hamby here in just a moment. Guys.
Thank you very much, Gerhard, as we wrap up this game and get ready to move on to the next game in just a few more minutes as we wait for Gerhard to join us. And he's got the Weaver coach, Daryl Hamby.
All right, guys, we're here now with Coach Hamby. You start off really hot. Talk about some of your observations throughout the game after the third, fourth quarter.
We ran the ball well. One thing that helped us, our perimeter blocking. They did a really good job of staying with the blocks. And, of course, I think Shamar Spink's got a chance to be one of the special backs that we've seen at Weaver. So as long as he keeps working hard and getting better.
Evaluate your entire spring. Some of the things you saw early in spring practice all the way through this game and some of the things you'll work on in the summer.
No doubt. I think they know why we run in the summer. You know, half of them over there dying on the sidelines, which, you know, you're never going to, with only 10 days of preparing, you're not getting the kind of shape you need to play football. But that's what this is about. And just love the way they keep competing. We had a lot of guys that were kind of banged up, just kept going, thriving. And we're going to key on that during the summer and keep getting better.
We saw last year this was one of the toughest regions, Class 3A Region 5 with you guys, with the state champion, with Ohatchee as well. Is that just kind of create just an intrinsic motivation just because you know the schedule will be so tough?
Of course, you know he's got to be ready for Piedmont now with Randolph County, you know, with Welborn. You know, everybody in that region is tough. It's just a tough region, so you've got to be prepared. You can't stay at home and not work or you're going to get outworked.
Absolutely. Coach, always great catching up with you. Right. Coach Daryl Hamby of the Weaver Bearcats. Guys, back to you.
Thank you very much, Gerhard. And John, you a connoisseur of high school football. You've studied the football. Your dad was a coach. What are these kids going to do in the summertime? You know, Coach Hamby talked about running and conditioning and things like that, but there are limits as to how much they can get together. There's limits of what they can do within the rules of the Alabama High School Athletic Association. So for those of us who don't follow as closely as you do, what's going to happen during the summertime for these guys?
Well, like everything else has kind of changed through the years, Carl. It used to be we had longer summers, you know, and you used to come back in August and have 2-a-day practices if you wanted to for 2 or 3 weeks because school didn't start until after Labor Day. Of course, that's gone because schools start now in early August, and the practice rules have been really, really tightened up as far as how many days of contact you can have. 2-a-days are a thing of the past. That doesn't exist anymore. One of the things on the other end of that, though, is there's more time in the summer to have team camps, 7-on-7 camps and things like that. That didn't exist. You go back 15 or 20 years ago, that didn't really exist, and now football has become kind of a year-round thing. So even into June, a lot of these folks next month, they'll just have a few weeks off and they'll be in 7-on-7 camps. Some of these teams will play as many as 2, 3, or 4 7-on-7 camps around the state. And so it really is all summer long. Football's been turned into really an all year long endeavor.
It certainly has. And we've mentioned, you mentioned the 7-on-7 camps. We hear that mentioned a lot. How much value do those kind of camps carry? You take 7 guys, a passing camp, and how much value does that carry for the coaches?
You know, some folks get into lineman camps, but there's not a lot, but the linemen are not there. So as far as, you know, running your total offense, you really can't do that. But as far as getting out there, so really I think for your quarterbacks and receivers to work on their timing against an opponent, and also for those receivers and defensive backs. I think those are the folks, in my estimation, are the ones that really get the most benefit out of a 7-on-7 are receivers and DBs, because that's what it is. It's a really higher level of backyard football, of getting out there and just, you know, the guys back there, 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, like when we were kids out there, and then you're picking out a receiver and going. So the receivers, the backs a little bit because out of the backfield as far as catching the ball, but the big thing I think, yeah, obviously the quarterbacks, but those receivers and DBs, they really benefit and get a lot of work out of it.
All right, sounds good. We're going to take a break. We are between games and getting ready for Welborn and Alexandria. Coming up in just a few minutes with the 2017 Calhoun County Spring Jam.